Working on an experiment today. Chicken's on fire. Candle drumstick. So what you're about to see in this video is one of the biggest failures I've ever had trying to use this thing. Despite my failure, I still wound up with the best tasting chicken that I ever remember having in my entire life. It was so amazing. Honestly, guys, I don't think that family really did it justice. Wow. This is probably the best chicken I've ever tasted in my life.
Yeah.
So I've learned a few things. I've definitely made some mistakes. I definitely have the incentive to rebuild this whole thing like in a permanent structure that's going to be amazing. It still hasn't stopped me from using it. I'm going to put some, I think, back straps or tenderloins from some venison on here today. But we like to share successes, we like to share failures, we like to just share life. So what you're going to see is a giant failure, and there's a number of reasons that it was a failure. Couldn't drill through the bones and still run a stick through it. Didn't want to use metal or wire. Tried using fishing line. I lost a couple drumsticks in the fire. They were just completely gone. It didn't work out that well, but the flavor and the end product was amazing. So I'll show you kind of some of the stuff in the middle, but there's better ways to do what I'm trying to do, and I need to set myself up better. So that's the moral of the story. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Alright guys, Papa Pepper back once again here at the Abundant Harvest Homestead. As you can see, I've got my lovely wife, Mama Pepper, and Bell Pepper. Look over here. Yeah, hey! She's just checking out the animals like you guys were a second ago. So, the other night, we enjoyed some Ram Shanks.
Yes, we did.
And how much seasoning did I put on those?
0 seasoning.
What were your thoughts with it? Yeah, baby. Hey,
It was
blueberry.
delicious. Definitely super, like, mouth-watering delicious.
So what I wanted to do was switch it up from just the goat came on this nice covered front porch we have now. I know, baby. I know. What I wanted to do is switch it up from the fish we had been smoking lately, which worked really good. That was a great experiment. Worked very well. Definitely enjoyed that. And I wanted to try some different meat. So we had a couple of pretty much bone-in big chunks of ram that we had harvested a while ago. So I just drilled a hole through each of the bones and hung them over that fire for about 5 or 6 hours. And worked really good, but I wanted to have it be like as natural as possible, just to get the kids and Mama used to stuff like that. Like, you may not always have seasonings, I know we take that for granted, but just see what a real food tastes like all on its own, see how that is. And you know, she's petting the goat right now. It's all the way up here. And Mama Pepper, I mean, you're normally a big seasoning girl, right? I mean, you gotta put salt and everything else on everything.
Just a little bit.
But those we're very distracted right now. But those were what? Really good, right?
Yes.
So what was your plan for today?
Our plan for today is to cook some drumsticks over the fire. Smoke them.
Drumsticks. So we've got some drumsticks we picked up at the store. And I'm just gonna try to run a line of them. I don't think I'll be able to use the same sticks and drill that big of a hole through them. So I'm either gonna tie them to the sticks or maybe drill a smaller hole and use a smaller stick. I'm not sure. I want to stay away from, you know, cooking them on like a metal rod. But we'll figure it out. And I think I'm gonna marinate them, just pierce them all up, put a little bit of lime juice on there, lemon juice, some pepper, and maybe some garlic or onion powder. For sure. Let them soak for a little bit while I get the fire started, and then let them smoke. So that's gonna be one of my projects today.
That's right. We'll see how it turns out.
Blueberry. Yeah. She was climbing all the way on top. I pulled in a hay load from a friend of ours, and before we even got it unloaded, she climbed up on top, and Pinky Pepper took some pictures of it that were pretty cool. So for this one, guys, I'm not gonna be able to drill through these. What I'm thinking of using is some 30-pound test. It's like a braided nylon, probably. It's not the, you know, the polyfilament or monofilament. It's green and it's braided. It's the stuff I use for jug fishing. But I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do, and I'll probably just tie 2 of these together and give them like a twist around the stick and see if that doesn't work. I didn't want to use metal, but I did want them hanging, so we'll see how that works. I guess, you see how long? Giving up coffee for a bit, so stinging nettle with hibiscus today. But one thing about this project is I do not know if that fishing line is actually going to work. Therefore, I'm just going to take a grate from a grill and put it underneath there, and that way if anything falls, it'll catch it and we won't lose the meat. I'm going to have to make sure that the flame stays real low. I'm going to let this pretty much run probably past sunset today, and we'll probably eat maybe 6:30, something like that. Right now it should be maybe just afternoon, so I want to make sure to give this a good amount of time to cook. Again, it's a hot smoke, so I'm not doing this just to preserve it or dehydrate it or dry it. I'm doing this to cook it, but put a lot of smoky flavor in it while I'm doing it. And when I used to grill chicken a lot, you know, I'd call it chicken, the other meat I don't trust, and just kind of grill it like crazy just because I didn't want any issues. So we'll let this hang here. I'm gonna kind of get the fire where it needs to be, and we'll go from there. But this is what Mama wants. This is my new hobby, so we'll see what happens. Oh, one other thing is that I have not built, you know, a permanent one. I'm still using this temporary one I just put up for that catch, clean, and smoke. I had a bunch of nice green cedar up here, but it's been drying out since then, and it was starting to crackle just with the fire beneath it. So I took some of that old stuff out, put some new stuff on, and what I need to do is just actually build a dome. I need to sit there and collect enough rocks and just build a nice dome. I've got an idea about just a hot smoke little, you know, campfire cave type thing I want to build, so I'll do that eventually. But for now, I mean, this is our new hobby. This is one way we definitely love to eat, and those that other stuff was just absolutely amazing. So take a look at that, guys. There is so much smoke and heat coming off of there just by laying those all straight. They're kind of like a smoldering burn, and some of these sticks are from kind of the forest floor too, so they're wet. I don't know if you can see that. There's a lot of moisture there, so that helps too. And then these are already all pierced up from when I tried to saturate them with that marinade, and we'll let it go. But you can see how much heat and smoke is hitting those guys, and once I build a dome, it'll be amplified. Even just the heat, the radiant heat, the smoke capture, everything. So this is getting pretty good. So at this point, we're 2 hours in. This stuff is definitely hot. I'm just gonna find a way to lay it level, kind of like I did on the other ones. So I'll probably put a stick in between them and flip some to it, and a stick next to it and flip some to it, and maybe stoke this a little bit just to increase the heat. We'll see if we can do that, and then we'll go from there. Guys, it happened. I left it a little too stoked than I thought I might have. So I burned through a couple of the strings. A couple of the chickens fell down there. So I'm gonna add some support and just try to bounce them up there or something. I thought that might happen. So on the bright side, I had the foresight with this experiment to have pretty much the barbecue grate down below to catch it. And that worked, that came in handy. That was not ideal, meaning it would be better just to have them stay up there. But again, this is an experiment. I'm just trying a different way of cooking. Mama thought that stuff was so tasty when I got it out here. I wanted to go like for the worst thing I could possibly think of. I mean, as far as difficulty, which would be the chicken here. I'm just gonna retie these and dangle them again, and we'll go from there. I'll just keep it lower, we'll keep it rolling. I think we'll do fine. Ah, they fell down. Different ones. Those are still there, but that one burned up almost completely. This is not good. Okay, I need to find a better way to do things like this, but I think I'm just going to rig up that whole grill plate up higher and just smoke them that way. Live and learn and make mistakes. Why is this chicken on fire? I need to get better at experiments. So what I've learned so far is fish is absolutely awesome in a setup like this. The ram worked really good because I was able to drill through the bone. If I was able to drill through the bone on these, I would have no problem. But to have a stick thick enough and a hole big enough and still be having wood instead of metal, it's more complicated. So we'll just let them sit up here on top of the grill grate and see what happens. Now I can stoke it a little bit more and I don't have to worry as much about having them burn, so it could work out. All right, I'll admit it, by this time I'm pretty much almost doing it's different than grilling out because I'd have the coals right underneath that we'd be going for a short period of time. So we're still using the heat of that and the smoke of that to take care of this chicken. But this has been my biggest fail ever, using my nice little primitive smoker thing. We've gotten a lot of use out of it since I put it up, but this is pretty much going to provide the inspiration to actually build a real structure the way that I want it for hot smoking meats. A couple of these I'm going to count a complete loss. That's not going to be good for anything. You guys even see that? It's carbon, and carbon's, you know, my favorite element, but not at the dinner table. So we'll see. It's not worked out incredibly well. Like I said, it will provide me the incentive to do better. But you know, from the get-go, my sticks have never been even. One's inches taller than the other. You get some different heats there. Trying to avoid metal, because I could have just wrapped them in wire or drilled a hole through them and then ran wire through them. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stay, I don't know, away from that. So that fishing line didn't really work. It got too hot. What I'm going to do is kick these down in the Dutch oven and we can still enjoy them. But, yeah. Yep, I had an experiment. It failed. It does look rather fantastic. I think I'm actually just going to use the Dutch oven like I did last time as a transport. So when I'm ready to bring them in the house, I'll heat up the Dutch oven, place them in there, and then set it on top of the stove. That way when we actually eat them, they'll still be nice and warm from the just the heat that the Dutch oven had in it. We don't use microwaves or anything, so I'm not just going to let them sit in there and get cold and then just nuke them quick or something like that. I'm going to stoke this a little bit more, but I really do like the way it's looking. I really do think it's going to taste fantastic. I'm looking forward to see how that pretty much lemon and lime juice and onion powder and garlic powder marinade worked. I'm looking forward to see how the smoke goes with that. I wish it would have worked out better for me, but I've lived, I've learned. I've had my worst experiment ever with this thing. After 3 back-to-back successes, and those Ram Shanks, those are where it was at. That was awesome. So I'm gonna stoke this a little bit, let these go, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like at the dinner table. So even though I feel like I failed at that experiment, we're still got the chicken and we're still gonna eat it. So Bugger, did you try your chicken, homeboy? He's eating cheese. What do you think about the chicken?
It's good.
It's good. Can you taste any of the marinade or just smoke?
A little smoke.
What do you think, child?
Well, it's good. I think I can taste both.
Okay.
It's all nice and pink. It's really good.
How was yours, my lady?
Good.
Good. So like I said, guys, we wound up doing it a little different than I planned on it, but it's going to give me the incentive to do a better job. And if you notice, we got some cool things over here too. I don't know if I put that video out first or next. If first, you can go back and watch it. If next, then you get a sneak peek. Alright, have a good night, everyone. Honestly, guys, I don't think that family really did it justice. Wow. This is probably the best chicken I've ever tasted in my life.
Yeah. Oh.
The smoke is amazing. You can taste the lemon too. And wow. It's like so still like juicy and soft, but definitely cooked all the way. And it was pretty much 5 hours. I just had it up there above the fire, like you guys saw. Wow. I got to make a more permanent thing that I can just chuck stuff on there and just keep it smoking constantly. Wow. All right. We'll see you next time. Wow.
I'm trying bread.
Oh, the bread.